Hello, can everyone hear me, relatively well, or do I need to, move the microphone a bit more? Alright, I'll move it a bit more. Good? Alright, so my name's Caroline Nolan, and I'm from Stuart, Florida, as you've heard. And I actually have a wonderful opportunity because I live less than a mile away from one of the most biologically diverse ecosystems in North America, the Indian River Lagoon. Now, the Indian River Lagoon, it actually spans 250 miles along the eastern coast of Florida. And it's actually home to over 7,000 different species, which includes 50 threatened or endangered. But it has a problem. So in 1930, there was a dike built around Lake Okeechobee. And Lake Okeechobee, it's actually the 7th largest freshwater lake in North America. And the reason they built it was because it would flood. So because they built the dike, it now connects these two ecosystems. So in 2013, the Army Corps of Engineers needed to release fresh water into a brackish lagoon, and that caused a huge problem. So they released 131.6 billion gallons of fresh water into this brackish lagoon, and the effects, it was devastating. So it killed all of the oysters, 80% of the seagrass, and it affected many of the wildlife there, including fish, manatees, dolphins, and seabirds. It was horrible. Now, the reason it was so bad was because the water is such a high level of nutrients. This is because the lake, it's surrounded by foams, and when it rains, there's runoff, and it's just all around horrible. So what I realized was there was a problem, and maybe I could solve it. Now, I've always been involved in science fair, so I thought, well, maybe I can do something to help this. So I actually read the research of Paul Stamen, and he was using mushrooms to filter out E. coli. Well, I was too young to filter out bacteria because in my region there's a rule that says if you're not in high school, you can't use bacteria. So I decided to go with the cause of the bacteria, which was the excessive nutrients. Now, the nutrients that were being used in excess was nitrogen and phosphorus. And coincidentally, mushrooms need nitrogen and phosphorus in order to grow, so I thought it was a perfect fit. So what I did is I contacted a dairy farm, and this dairy farm was like, yes, please come with us. So I created several filter bags, and this was filled with fungal mycelia. And I just filtered the wastewater. And what I found was astonishing. It was really promising. So in 12 minutes at floodwater conditions, which is 4 liters a minute, I removed 5% of the nutrients, which is incredible for me to know. So I presented this to the South Florida Water Management, which actually controls the Everglades. And they thought it was a really novel solution, and it was also really promising. So then I realized there was another problem. I realized that these environmental problems, they're so complex, and there's so many different levels to it. And there's not enough kids in science. So my next science project is actually getting more kids involved. So I know a lot of people have said this, but I really need to say it. So I really appreciate the Action for Nature recognizing all these people getting involved, because without them, we're going to have a lot more problems. So we need to have more people involved. Thank you.